Hi, Tom here. I remember being a kid, standing in the kitchen late at night. The house was quiet, a little too quiet. The fridge hummed, the clock ticked, and there was this feeling in the air, like something had happened. No one was yelling, and no one was fighting. But something was always tight. I didn't have a language for it. I just knew that love felt careful. Like you had to step around it. Like you could break if you moved too fast. And I didn't realize until decades later that tension didn't start with my parents. It didn't even start with me. It was a lot older. Older than the house, older than the country we lived in, older than the stories that were told at the dinner table. Some wounds don't scream. They whisper. They live in posture, in tone, in the way someone apologizes a little too quickly, in the way someone never apologizes at all. Ancestral wounds aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're just silence. Sometimes they're the way your grandfather never cried, the way your grandmother swallowed her anger, the way your father didn't know how to say, "I love you," without looking away, the way your mother loved you but was afraid the whole time. And you inherited that. Not consciously, but biologically, emotionally, and energetically. We inherit more than eye color. We inherit unfinished sentences. We inherit grief that never got processed, shame that was never named, fear that was never safe to feel. And then one day, you find yourself reacting in ways that don't make any sense. Why does love feel unsafe? Why does success feel like betrayal? Why does rest feel wrong? Why does your body brace for impact when no one is coming? Because your nervous system might be remembering something your mind never experienced. That's ancestral. That's lineage. That's memory without story. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. A lot of people walking around today are not just living their own lives, carrying entire emotional bloodlines inside their chest. You can feel it when you slow down. There's a weight there. Not yours, but yours to feel. And this isn't about blaming your parents, or shaming the past, or turning your family into villains. Most of them were just surviving. Surviving war, surviving poverty, surviving addiction, surviving silence, surviving expectations, and surviving roles they never chose. And survival leaves marks. You can't pass down what you've never learned. You can't model safety if you've never felt it. You can't reach emotional regulation if your entire nervous system was trained for danger. So the wound continues. Not because anyone is evil, but because no one knew how to stop it. Until you. And this is where it becomes sacred. Because the moment you notice the pattern, you interrupt it. The moment you say, "This reaction feels older than me," you step out of unconscious inheritance. You become the witness instead of the carrier. But witnessing is painful. Because when you really look, you see the fear behind the anger. You see the loneliness behind the control. You see the shame behind the perfectionism. You see the child behind the adult. And sometimes you see yourself. I am not just one body. I am a hallway of echoes. Footsteps from people I've never met still walk inside my bones. There are wars in my blood that I did not fight. There are lullabies in my cells that were never sung to me. My spine remembers what my tongue cannot name. My chest tightens for storms that passed generations ago. There are women in my lineage who swallowed their fire. There are men in my lineage who drowned in silence. And I carry both. I carry the tremble. I carry the armor. I carry the ache that says, be careful, be small, be strong. Don't feel too much, don't need too much, and don't ask. But something in me is tired of carrying that was never mine. Something in me is brave enough to sit in the middle of the inheritance and say, this stops here. I do not reject my blood. I transform it. I do not curse my lineage. I heal it. I am not the wound. I am the interruption. When you begin healing ancestral wounds, something strange happens. You feel grief that doesn't match your story. You cry for things you can't fully explain. You forgive people who never apologized. You release anger that wasn't entirely about you. And sometimes you feel alone. Because not everyone in your family wants the pattern to change. When one person evolves, the system shakes. When one person sets boundaries, the old rules get exposed. When one person says, I won't carry this anymore, it can feel like betrayal to those still carrying it. But healing isn't betrayal. It's integration. It's saying, I honor where I came from, but I refuse to repeat what hurts us. That's not disrespect. That's maturity. And here's the deeper layer. Ancestral wounds are not just trauma. They're also gifts. Intuition, strength, work ethic, creativity, spiritual depth. Your ancestors survived things you never knew. That survival is in you too. But survival mode is not the same as living. And maybe your role in this bloodline is not to survive. Maybe it's to soften. Maybe it's to feel what was never safe to feel. Maybe it's to cry what was never allowed. Maybe it's to love without flinching. Maybe it's to sit in a quiet kitchen at night and realize the tension in the air isn't fate. It's history. And history can be rewritten. Not by denying it, not by pretending it didn't happen, but by choosing differently. By responding instead of reacting. By resting instead of bracing. By speaking instead of swallowing. By loving without armor. That's how you heal something older than yourself. Not with force, but with awareness. And the most powerful part, you don't just heal forward. You heal backward. When you change, you don't just affect your children. You affect your parents, your grandparents, and your lineage. Because healing is not linear. It ripples. Somewhere in your bloodline, a version of someone who never got to feel safe breathes a little easier when you do. And maybe that's why so many people right now are feeling the weight. Because we are the generation that is waking up. We are the ones who have language for trauma. We are the ones who are questioning patterns. We are the ones who are saying, "This hurt me, and I don't want to pass it down." That's not weakness. That's evolution. Ancestral wounds are not a curse. They are an invitation to become compassionate, to become the one who finally says, "I see it." And once you see it, you can choose. And choice is freedom. You are not broken. You are layered. You are not damaged. You are carrying stories. And you are allowed to put them down gently, without rage, without blame, and without shame. Just awareness. Just a quiet moment in a kitchen at night where you realize the tension you felt as a child was never your fault. And the healing you chose now is not just for you. It's for everyone who came before you. And everyone who will come after. This is how cycles end. Not with violence, not with rebellion, but with understanding. And the courage to feel what was never felt. Take care and be calm.